So I'm going to talk to you today about the age-old concept, the recurring concept on my channel, the only real concept, which is discipline. It's the only concept. Every single problem that's in your life can be handled if your discipline is handled. It means one must have an ability to straighten themselves. This could be beating yourself up, this could be talking to yourself gently, it could be a myriad of things. But it is definitely your discipline. That's the only issue. You know what I mean? Should it be your physique, your body? Realize that 30 minutes of exercise a day or an hour probably would get you way further than where you are. And you don't do it. So it becomes a discipline issue. Could be that you just remember to eat particular things, but you don't do it. Could be that you take the time to learn to eat particular things, but you don't do it. But all of these things fall under the common bracket of discipline. So, here are different things to think about when it comes to discipline. And the very first thing is your own mind and its nature. You need to understand the nature of your mind in order to place valid and good counters against said mind. It means you need to know that as an entity you are distractible. You need to know that as an entity you can be flustered and you can be disoriented, discombobulated, you can lose composure. And knowing that you can lose composure, you can then make valid counters, like writing down your daily routine so that even uncomposed, you can, without too much effort, put yourself back on the checklist of things that you're supposed to do. And continue to win from there. The other things that you need to think about are just, your own personality type, if that makes sense. This means, if you're like a silly person, you need to be aware that you're a silly person and can be swept away by any odd urge to party. If you have trouble with members of the opposite sex, for lack of better words, meaning you like girls a little too much or you like boys a little too much, you need to actually have an understanding of just these things, just so that you know what to put in place so that you're not swept away by these things. Could be that you do not go clubbing as much so that you do not get drunk and do not find yourself waking up in some interesting place with some interesting person. It comes down to this element of discipline. Could be that you put material things in your life that will help you to be more disciplined. Meaning just things within the physical universe. Set an alarm every maybe 30 minutes or every hour that will disrupt your distraction should you be distracted and bring you back to working, right? Which is a bit intense or a bit extreme, but I'll tell you what. If you want an extreme life and an intense or an extreme amount of money, somehow the management of your life, the discipline of your life needs to be intense and extreme. If you observe any person who has worked to getting rich, there is some degree of extremity to them. It's not a mild person at all. Yeah. Usually it's reading for hours a day. Usually it's working for hours a day. Usually it's for something. It's something where it's intensive. So you need to be aware that it's your discipline within these realms. You also need to understand that there is knowledge out there. There is knowledge out there, you need to go get it. On maintaining focus, freeing yourself from entanglements, right? Or things that make you more distracted or less able to focus, right? You know what I'm talking about. Freeing yourself from these things so that you can be at enough peace or at enough stability or ability to continue through being disciplined, paying attention to your work, doing what you're doing when you're doing it, right? And you need to find this. Because realize everything is a technique, including discipline itself. It's a technique. It means that you can learn it, yeah? And you might not brute force it, but also allow yourself, if possible, you can brute force it. Everything is allowed. You can learn how to do it with tact, and you can just force yourself to sit there, be there comfortably, and do what you're doing, God damn it. Do you see? And these are the elements. Could be that you need someone else to talk to make yourself accountable. Or maybe not in such a negative way, you know. Find that girl, find your spouse. Make a promise that you're going to get this done no matter what, you know, to put a fire under you. If your spouse is the type of person that inspires you, which is like, I think, the very best kind of spouse, you know. And finally, the other element that you can use or should consider when it comes to discipline is publicity. Publicity. Letting people know what your target is. What a beautiful thing to let people know what your target is. And then to accomplish said target, or to facilitate yourself achieving said target. Realize that the atmosphere in which you are determines what you become. There is an atmosphere to a diamond. There is an atmosphere to coal. There is an atmosphere to a fat person, an atmosphere to a fit person, an atmosphere to a disloyal person, an atmosphere to a loyal person. Realize that regulating your environment is also part of regulating you. And that's all the elements that you need to think about when it comes to being disciplined. But by all means, it doesn't need to make sense. You can also just be disciplined for no reason and force yourself into it. You're allowed.